Hey folks, I'm here doing some playtesting for a work in progress called TechDeathBase for Deadhead. Deadhead says, I'm working on a map right now, could use some feedback if anybody's got a few minutes to try it out. All in all, there's about 10 minutes of level to play at the moment. There's no exit, but you'll know when you're at the end of what's available so far. More than anything, I'm looking for advice on encounters and enemy placement. Is it too easy, too hard? Is it fun, boring? Most areas haven't been completely decorated yet. They're mostly just blocked out with some basic decoration. I've been testing with DSDA Doom 0.29. The map is MBF21 format using Doom 2 WOD as the base. The map is not built around jumping or free look. It's exactly how I like it. The map is mostly small encounters with one slaughtery fight at the end. Edit. Added OTEX to the WOD and Slade. Hopefully that fixes the missing texture problems. Okay, right. Well, I'll start by saying that doesn't. If I load this without also loading my own download of OTEX, then it just shows me loads of missing textures and I get Hall of Mirrors type stuff going on. So I needed to load that separately. Having said that, it looks like the download has got, like, it's bigger than the whole OTEX WOD put together. So maybe the resources are in there, they're just not referenced the correct way. I don't know. That's something to figure out later. Anyway, I did a blind run of this and my OBS settings were screwed. So sadly that's lost. But it was good to read over the commentary because I did ramble a lot, and going over the commentary again, sorry, the description again, I realised that Deadhead is looking for some specific feedback, so a lot of my rambling was irrelevant anyway. Difficult settings haven't been implemented, but I thought it worked pretty well and hurt me plenty. So I start off with some ammo in a nice empty room, and I like the brushwork and text and tasteful texture usage. This is a more kind of dark OTEX usage, a more kind of like tastefully grim OTEX usage. A lot of the time people go wild with OTEX to use a lot of colours. This isn't one of those. Anyway, that's not really what we're looking for. We're looking at encounter design. And I like this kind of hanger where it's like, all right, we've got that. Those two being lumped on top of each other is a bit ugly, I think, but yeah, anyway. Open the door, enemies come to you. Right. We're in fighting. So, straight off the bat, I could hear a lot of enemies there. There's the enemies immediately in front of me, 3 imps, fair enough, I think. But then you can hear, like, right, you know, there was a chain gunner that came around the corner, and there's nowhere to really hide apart from, like, running back up and through here. There's also some Hell Knights in alcoves there, although they can't hit us immediately. But there's enemies coming round the corner when you don't have anywhere to really shield yourself from things. Okay, so did he kill? I think, yeah, he killed 2 shotgunners there. How about this door? I think for a huge hangar door, that quick door is kind of inappropriate. It doesn't feel right. I think the intent is so that it can close behind you relatively quickly without you kind of going like, oh, it's shutting, we're going to run back to the relative safety of this big empty room. Yeah, I don't really know what to do about that. Because you can't open it from you can't open it again from the inside. You can do this though, you can quickly open and close it, which enables you to kind of choose this fight. I can run in and I can trigger some heavy encounter stuff. Anyway, I'm going to try and fight this fight in good faith. Enemies here, look, there's Hell Knights there, right? There's Hell Knights there, there's 3 imps in front of me. There's a bunch of guys, including 2 shotgunners and a chain gunner, who kind of hear me from around the corner and pile around. I think that's a bit off. Like, I think if there was a column here, or a column after this door, either way, make me commit to going through another corridor maybe, you know, so that I don't get to just like seal myself in a room to avoid problems. But maybe if there's a more extended corridor past the door, and then I have to drop down. Yeah. Anyway. So, we've got these two guys here. I was like, when I first played this, I was like, I'm going to run over there because I took quite a pounding from that chain gunner. And I was like, right, I'm going to run around there and get that health. I'm going to do that again here now. Although I could just shoot these guys off, but it's a bit boring with the weapons I've got. So, yeah, let's do this. Whoa! Enemies from 3 directions. Damn, no infighting, really? It's kind of like, because I've got pretty limited resources for enemies of this caliber and this tightness, and there's only one place to really shield myself. I kind of wish there was some revenants within fight more, but the thing is with the revenants and the revenants and the hell knights is yeah. The thing is with revenants and hell knights, they've got very limited angle of view on you. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. That is a good fight. It's when I shoot these guys that I wake up all those other ones and they slowly come around the corner. But yeah, being able to back away like this is kind of a bit naff. Anyway, I'm going to trigger that fight again. And this is tight. This is a tough fight. I kind of want to trigger some infighting, but yeah, like I said, it's great. We've got some going on there. It's tough because there's very few angles where well, if you're running around, what you need to do in this game to avoid like enemies are coming all over the place. You don't have the weaponry to like deal with anything. Like it's going to take 3 shots to at least 3 shots. To kill any of the pinkies, they're around all over the place. You can't really predict any movement, you have to keep strafing. So you kind of need some infighting going where it's kind of chaotic how it takes place, or whether it takes place at all. But if you hide here, the revenants can't get you and the hell knights can't get you. You kind of figure that out organically at some point. Anyway, I can kind of count. I think those guys can't hit you from... Oof, was that the revenant projectile? Okay, cool. This fight is interesting, and I like the way you've kind of got like, there's 2 ways you can go about it. Either you can just deal with these guys, but I'm like, just a shotgun really? Nah, I want to get some goodies, and there might be some more goodies behind this. And if I open that door, maybe I can go through here. But then you go through here, and enemies come at you from 3 directions. That's an interesting setup. And it's very challenging with a shotgun, but you have to deal with it. So yeah, I like that. I really like that. Good stuff. But yeah, anyway, nice detailing and nice brushwork. And I assume this is going to open that. But no. it opens this. And it's interesting, so, like, that releases the Hell Knights as well. So the if you press this prematurely, the Hell Knights are going to come down. They'll make that fight even more hectic. You can jump around and press this for a quick escape, because here you get, and I think this is overpowered. You get a Megasphere. I think that's too much. But you get the super shotgun, so that does actually make this fight a lot more bearable, even with the 2 Hell Knights. I'm not going to show you how that works. And there, some guy shooting at me over there, but I don't care. I've got a Megasphere and a super shotgun, so whatever, you know. Don't care about those losers. Cool. I like the. So there's so much going on here. First, there's like, hey, I'm going to go over here to get some armor, some health. After that nasty chain gunner incident, it's like, chain gunner incident, mate. You don't know what you're talking about. Now you're really in for it. Whoa, what the fuck? I've just got a shotgun. And then you think, okay, I'm going to open that door. No, it doesn't open that door. It opens this. I like the misdirection. It's very cool. There's so much going on in here. This room. Oh. There's an imp. There's some chain gunners. Yeah, it's relatively easy. This guy's kind of stuck behind there, which is, I think the detailing needs to be. It's kind of dumb to have him stuck there because you can kind of walk away. That's kind of the same thing with these guys, right? If you deal with this particularly badly, you can kind of just ignore them. But I mean, whatever. I just think that guy being able to crawl out is important. That imp. I don't know what's going on with the lighting around that. It looks asymmetrical. There's a kind of... Anyway. But this room is interesting. Because look, down here, I mean, there's a lot of detail here. And yeah, you know, Deadhead said that they're not looking on commentary on the detailing, but this is really cool. And I can see this room here, so like, alright, I can see another Megasphere down there. This is clearly an arena, look at all those rockets. So I know that's to come, that's really cool. And then I go through here and it's like, actually, this room kind of feels like a hub room. Because it's got the crates, and it's got a bay, and there's a door there, there's a door back here. And there's, oh, I can see a rocket launcher. That's kind of quaky in here, you know what I mean? But it's not a hub room, actually. This is the only place you can go to back here. And that's interesting that you've got kind of like this space here, which is kind of like useless space, practically speaking. I mean, it does a storytelling job. That's got these guys. Although these guys aren't much of a challenge. Those imps, those hit scanners were definitely not a challenge. So this room is not a challenge at all compared to the previous room. But it's doing storytelling. We've got boxes, we've got the rocket launcher, and I realise now, okay, that rocket launcher, I can only see one way in. Oh, see the backpack there? But obviously there must be a way to trigger that, and I assume that rocket launcher along with those rockets. Okay, yeah, that's the entry into the arena. So I've got that to look forward to, and I really like that. So this room is doing storytelling. So it doesn't matter if the combat's not that interesting. But this is the way through. Okay. Alright, hit scanners. Oh! And again, my shooting triggers some monsters just outside. Eesh. This one's taking a beating. He's gonna win. Yeah, that's it. Ooh, and yeah, then you notice there's this guy. Very hard to see. This is interesting because this guy's like, he's hidden behind here, and it's so dark that you can't like, you don't notice him until he like comes right out. Ouch. So everyone dealt with? Okay, if I was doing less commentary, like my health is down to 94 ammo. Oh, and there's loads of shotgun ammo here. If I was doing less commentary, I think I would still be on much high health. That was a fun fight. It's kind of like... the two Revenants hiding here is odd. Like, because I'm thinking like, what's in this room? And there's nothing in this room. Maybe the ammo could go there, and it can be just like a cache room, in a similar way to like, this is a room with health in it, or an alcove, shall we say. Otherwise this feels odd. I was like, are these doors? They're not doors. And again, I'm thinking like, for some reason, I was thinking like this is a hub. Because you get these little doors, and it's twice it's been little doors, but then it's like, okay, I went from one room with a little door to another room where you go like, okay, there's some detail around here, but the way through is just another little door. And that feels a bit weird because like, there's some storytelling going on here. You know, this is building on what happened in there to say like, you know, there's a huge slaughter arena to come. So I'm still looking forward to that. But then it's like, okay, go over here, little door. And this isn't a hub room either. There's nothing down here apart from some health. It's like the purpose of this is a bit strange. And also the door closed behind me. Why did it close behind me when that door didn't? Like, would there be any harm in me being able to... Maybe it's just that I can't easily kind of let's like run back or whatever. I don't know. Feels a bit odd. And also like, yeah, sorry, those Revenants. The Revenant behaviour is highly unpredictable. A lot of the time they just end up fighting with a Mank. Sometimes they're not a problem if you just back up here, because the Mank it would make you back up, but you know you want some shelter, you don't know what's going on in there. Back up here for cover. A lot of the time they just don't bother you until you've dealt with everyone else. But that guy coming out and surprising you, that's interesting. Anyway, further on. Line. And at this point, this isn't a challenge. Right? But it is one of those interesting things where I'm thinking like, how do I maximize it? I mean, I'm always thinking how do I maximize it. Never not maximizing infighting. Also, it's kind of like, it's not very challenging, you know, it's like, there's some enemies up there. Now, yeah, I'm not going to comment on the detailing, other than to say that this is quite quaky and I like it. But, yeah, so this is where, like, oh, hello. How did you get to that side? Okay. Yeah, so I'm just going to wander in here. There's nothing going on here really. But there's a blue door. I need a blue key to open this door. Now the interesting thing with that, my criticism with that is that when you've got multiple options, and I've been thinking about multiple options for a while, because this kind of gave the impression of a forking path, except it wasn't. You kind of think like, alright, if there's multiple ways I could be progressing, then I want to get I want to limit the first options before I start exploring further options, because otherwise I get confused about like, okay, I could go through here, I could go through there, and then there's a place very far away and I could go through here. And sometimes combat leads you up there, other times it doesn't. But I tend to have the mentality that I want to go like, all right, let's not. I know there's 3 different ways I could go, but I should go through here. So the first time I played it, I didn't realise that there's a blue door room up here, and this is just the blue door room. Now I'm going to show you that. Oh, these steps up here. What's going up here? Strange room. This. I don't know what this bit's for, but oh, there's also a blue key door. So both of these options are blue key door rooms. Yeah. Now, the first time I played it, I just went through here first, so I didn't know that there were those up there. And I didn't want to go up here because what happened was I was up here dealing with one of the cacos, I think, which had just got pushed back a lot. And then a pinky came out, and I was like, ugh, a pinky is coming out from another room, and I haven't fully explored my options down here yet because I've just been slogging through combat. And I don't want to start dealing with all the stuff that might be in there trickling through, so yeah, I'm going to ignore that. Anyway, I want to here. Let's go and let's do these guys. I've got so much ammo, and at this point, the level of resources is kind of like. I think the resources are kind of placeholdery. The fact that these guys are set to ambush is weird. Like every other instance, I've gone into a room, well, not even gone in, and I fire, and it wakes up everybody, and they start coming around. But yeah, this room is kind of interesting. I don't know. I like the layout of it. It's got some detailing in it, I guess. Now, this to me looks like an interactive surface. Happens to be a secret, but first time round, I was like, this looks like a lift for some reason, and I immediately went for that. And thought like, oh, I could go up here. Plasma's a bit. That's pretty heavy. Maybe I'll just keep on going through the little doors, and bear in mind that there's 2 places I could go back here, because bear in mind I hadn't followed those through yet, and there's 1 place I could go up there, but I'll stick to the little doors for now. You know, like I'm kind of taking notes of my methodology going through a maze. So anyway, let's do some of this. And then I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have picked up that plasma because it's a bit of a slog. It's not so much for me. Although it does, like, I kind of like it because with full going into this room with full with 200 bullets and thinking like, well, you know, chain gun's definitely the best way to deal with lots of hit scanners. Also kind of good with pain elementals because it keeps them in pain states. But I do like the way you're kind of trying to manage the lost souls, and then you're kind of panicking going like, shit, this is just enough ammo, maybe not even enough ammo to deal with them. And that's interesting because I find pain elementals and lost souls generally just extremely annoying, so well done for making them interesting. So these little grates are interesting. Just acid or whatever coming through there. So because I know what's going on, I'm spending more time doing commentary and a more detailed commentary, hindsight commentary, I guess. But like on my first playthrough, I was still like near 200. I go up here. That's a bit tight. Yeah, whatever, let's just deal with this. This fight is not challenging, but it's nice to have, oh look, the echo. Oh, that's where the assets, slide, package, whatever you want to call it. That's where it's coming from. So it's nice to have that storytelling element. It's a storytelling kind of room, so the combat doesn't need to be too interesting. And then I was like, oh, blue key door, interesting. But no, actually, I don't think I went up to it. I think I was like, is that a blue key door? Because some people with OTEX, some people are just not very disciplined with the way they use colours. But does this open that? No, but it opens something. Oh my god! So, okay. That was kind of unrealistic. I'm going to rewind a bit. What actually happened is I heard this. Oh, what's that? What's that sound? Oh shit! It's him. Run away. Try and get another shot. Wow. A lot of shots. Okay, so I only revived one guy that time, despite taking a lot of firepower. I think this should be positioned further away from that, such that such that, because here there's not really going to be anybody between you and him. Like this fight is not very challenging. The enemies are kind of like in a mass there. It's just a bunch of hit scanners and 2 Hell Knights. No biggie. So there's not going to be much reason for you to desperately circle about the whole map. So the corpses are all going to be over here, and when you do this, he's just going to have a straight path to you where you've got quite a lot of cover to go around. I think you can make it more interesting by putting more enemies between, or putting this location that he comes out of closer to where you start, so that more of the enemies are between you and him. That could make things a lot more frantic, and I think that would be really good for going like, oh, this fight is really easy compared to the previous fights, and it's like, oh no, my god, it's not. Anyway, yeah, so this. Yes, I've got some concrete suggestions on this. Like, I think the way to handle this, progression-wise, would be that for this room, you say you've got this long line of people, and like, I think the reason, like, when something seems boring or a bit anticlimactic, it's because your sense of progression is kind of confused, or you don't feel like you've achieved anything, or you don't know exactly where to go, or you've got lots of options where to go, but neither of them seems necessarily more compelling than the other. And the combat's not particularly exciting. And when when you've got multiple options as to where to go, that can be interesting sometimes if everything else is interesting. Or if, like, there's clearly one reason for going one way and a different reason for going another way, if you're making a choice. But here I'm not really making a meaningful choice. I think here, if there was no way through, no steps up there, and if you just saw the blue door immediately here, like a big blue door up some steps, then I'd be able to go like, alright, there's only one way for me to go, and it's back here. And then what you'd do is you'd grab the blue key, maybe drop straight down from like up here, make this just like give up directly onto here, and that way it's like there's only one option, and you know, I've got a mission now, I'm looking for the blue key door. Because otherwise, if you can see, okay, maybe I've gone up here first, I go, oh, there's a blue key door, okay, so I need to do that, But maybe I can go up there and maybe through here. I'll go through here, I think. You're keeping your options open as to other things you could be doing. But really you should just be focusing on the blue key. Like, that is the only meaningful choice you have. And that keeps you going. It's like, yeah, it gives you focus. Anyway, I'm going to get this now because I've dealt with all that other stuff. And so I don't know, maybe, yeah. I assume you're going to do this with detailing, but make this more secrety, because I kind of found that immediately. And then I thought, well, I don't want to go up there because plasma implies something really heavy ahead. And maybe I want to do the simple stuff first, path of least resistance, before I deal with the big things. Yeah, so if that was a bit more secrety, then I would be more like, oh, hell yeah, plasma. I love that. Anyway, as it is, there's not really much to do with this anymore. And yeah, I have to go all the way through here to go back up here. And this is odd filler. I don't know if more stuff's going to be put in here later. Oh, backpack full of ammo, and yes, I'm here. And, alright, let's see how I deal with this. That doesn't trigger anything, so is this going to trigger something? And those monsters spawning, is that MBF-29 that allows things to spawn in after a delay? I think that's the first time I've seen it. Okay. So it's interesting, I haven't really, like, this slaughter doesn't really suggest. I do like that slow reveal. That comes down, then you get things like this comes down. Oh, and that. He started shooting at me and then he stopped. Oh yes, I avoided Archvile fire. Archviles are all in fighting. That's why I like it. So yeah, the Arachnotrons are weird. Oh, they're all fighting the brilliant. All the Archviles are fighting the side. Ah! Okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it should be. Oh, that's because I got them. Hang on. See, what I don't get with these Archviles is that a lot of the time, it feels like they've been infighting loads, but then I need to give them like 4 rockets. I don't know, I think it's just like bad luck I've been having. Anyway. Yeah, so these Arachnotrons, that one fired at me for a bit and then stopped. These ones are like stuck. Oh, this one's... Okay, when's it going to start? Okay, is it as soon as it loses line of sight with me, then it becomes frozen? Which is just weird. Someone hit him, yes. Ah, fuck. Don't hit me. So yeah, this fight is all based on the roll of the dice with revenants. And the Arachnotrons are broken. Like, you really don't understand that. Like, so it seems that, like, as soon as they lose line of sight with you, which is, like, effectively going to go underneath them, then they just... Yeah, very, very weird. But yeah, this fight's basically, for me, it feels like it's all pot luck as to it's all pot luck as to art style. Yeah, and you see that, like, oh, whoa! Okay, so if they all get fighting a cyber demon, then I'm laughing. You know, that's like me sorted. The major risk factor is gone. Like, yeah, it's difficult to know what to focus on. Whoa, what I screwed me out. Interesting, I'm doing much worse than my blind playthrough. Maybe because I'm not really strategizing anything here. I'm just like running about describing things without a sense of urgency. Yes. And then there's some kind of thrill that I managed to just get out of the side. How many hits is this guy going to take? It's so weird because I keep on thinking like these guys they've been taking hits. And yet every single one of them needs more than 3 rockets to be. Okay, that's one down. One cyber down. Let's get rid of one of these guys for fun. Yeah, there's an arc class still going. Oh my god, an imp's still teleporting in. Fucking hell. Okay, yeah, so this is one of those interesting slaughterhouses where imps end up surviving a lot of the time. Like, but I'm going to try something now. Okay, I'm going to say, because previously what I did was, right, let's clear all these guys out, because it's not much of a attack. Major issues have been solved. So, this is just slow mop up. Actually, I'll do that. And one of the things that's interesting is I don't kind of like, apart from the archviles, like once they're gone, I suppose these guys are a challenge. But if you keep running around and you need to know how you can move around. So I mop up these guys first, and then okay, dealt with. Now, that's the exit, but obviously I can't exit. And there's still enemies left, so I was like, right, okay, let's get some armor again. Whoa. That reveals these guys, and it opens this up, and that reveals another. Yeah, so I think the resources need rethinking. Are they just placeholders for the time being? There's loads of these guys, and the way they trickle out is really annoying. Because they're not really a challenge. See, it's interesting, right? Because I was thinking, like, okay, that revealed this as well. And there's a switch down. I don't want to waste this, but, like, let's flick that switch to see what happens next, because this is kind of boring. But it just opens the exit. So I could leave now. Obviously this is unfinished. I've watched this. Oh hi. At this point, like, that was a bit stupid of me, but the Cacodemons aren't a challenge, you know. They're not. There's not enough of them, and they're not coming up out of wide enough of space or different enough areas to make. Because sometimes when you've got them hovering above different locations and spread about the map, then they really give you a sense of danger in, like. They make navigation and circling hard, because sometimes you bump into them and you're not sure where they're coming from. That can be scary. But here they're not really, if I can, then the Revenants aren't going to be a problem either. I think unleashing both of them at the same time would make more sense. Because that would just make me panic and be like, oh god. Or, like I said earlier, like making the area that they come out of larger. As it is, the two-stage fact of this, the fact that I can trigger the Revenant separately means that I can handle this in different ways, but not really interesting. Like, to make things fun, I just go like, I try for a while circling as close as I possibly can with the Revenants, so that some caco firing at me is going to hit them every day, in my wake. But, you know, it doesn't make a massive difference. Like, you know, it ends up, they kill each other very, very slowly. So, it's not like you're getting particularly exciting or efficient. Mind you, it's interesting, like, when people come around the edges, right? Like, when there's a Revenant through here, like, oh, fuck, ooh, that's scary. So, like, I don't know, making it, maybe concentrating all the resources in there, and trying to make sure that, like, enemies coming spread out enough that there are likely to be enemies, and that would make it interesting. But as it is, I can just, like, circle straight. I'm going to do that. Right, so, yeah, as it stands, like, I needed all the health power-ups in here. On my blind run through, I didn't. I was quite comfortably. Oh no, there's still that one, I guess. Yeah, so as a hurt me player, sorry. That was the initial wave, challenging, kills me a few times, and it becomes about trying to circle strafe and I guess like killing the imps, getting rid of the imps so that there's room enough to move, to move more comfortably and hopefully get some clear shots on the archviles is the thing. The archviles are the only big challenge. But yeah, I like it. Yeah, and the way that, yeah, I've said like the trigger logic around here is a bit confused. And obviously difficulties haven't been implemented, there's way too many resources. But it's fun. I like the way, I like the fact there's so many imps. I wonder if like, because the fact that they're spawning here all the time, whilst activity is mainly under control here. I wonder if they could spawn from two places. So I think that's the real challenge, is like preventing the player from being able to easily circle straight around things. At which point, unless you're dealing with archviles, and even if you are, really, things aren't much of a challenge. Yeah, nice work. And yeah, that's my review. Cheers, thanks a lot, and good luck with the rest.